GPVWC 2020 is go!
Welcome back everyone to GPVWC. Today we're at the Hockenheimring for round 9 of the Superleague Lights Championship. The Hockenheimring, of course, one of the most popular circuits for spectators. Big packed crowds every time Formula 1 goes here, and also every time GPVWC goes here in terms of YouTube chat. We don't have Wopke Hoekstra here as my second in command in the commentary box, but luckily we've had an offer from Ewan Gale, who has stepped in. Of course, you'll know Ewan from the track maps, the track run-throughs that we see before the start of Super League events, and Ewan has stepped in to replace Wopke for today. Ewan, what are you looking forward to most about this round, and who have you got your eye on?
What we're looking forward to about this round is whether anyone can stop Liam de Vries and Silentbite, because it has been absolutely imperious all year. Yeah, Liam's fast, he was top in practice as well. Spork looks closest to him. It'll be nice to see if Colin can get to the top step. But, you know, what I found interesting so far this year is how there's 4, 5, 6 drivers who all seem to be fighting for that second in the championship, and you know, any one of those could pose a threat today.
Yeah, of course, it's been the story of the championship so far, the Cenobite rampage of Liam de Vries, and Colin Spork hasn't been that far behind him. And as you say, there is definitely a fight going on for second in the championship, and that's the, I suppose, the silver lining to de Vries' dominance. It's meant there have been fewer points available for other drivers, and as a result, the championship has been kept very close if you ignore the yellow Cenobite running away in front of everyone. Anyway, we're in qualifying. We have 13 or 12 and a half minutes to go, and we're just seeing the first few flying laps being set. Is that a wheel on the track? I think someone's lost a wheel already, and if that's the case, that would mean that they wouldn't be able to go out again. I'll try to update you on that in a minute. But anyway, James Tuber is the fastest lap so far. 1:13.878 is the early deadline. Followed by Tomasz Voch and Liam de Vries. So currently the Cenobites only 3rd and 4th, with Spork 4th, and Alejandro Lopez goes to P2. Now it's very close up top, but of course this is the early stages of the qualifying session, and I'm still very much expecting things to change, Ewan.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see what the teams do with regards to slipstream down into the hairpin, and whether that will help anyone get to pole ahead of the regular that is Liam de Vries.
Yeah, I can't seem to find anything on the wheel on the road. It was right by the pit entry, so I wonder if someone crashed there and was able to did manage to make it back to their pit box, because if they could do that, then they'd be allowed to go out again. But anyway, Giuseppe Saracino coming back to the pits without a rear wing, so he's going to have to be careful not to cause any incidents as he works his way back. Of course, it's important to get back to the pits, because otherwise you don't get another run. Talking of other runs, we have people coming into the pits. A lot of the leaders and the first people to set laps have been back into the pits to set up for their second attempts, their second assaults of the track. And in terms of people still setting laps, we do still have a few laps coming in from people who didn't set it initially. Sebastian Cosmala's just gone up to P4 there, so that's an improvement from him. And further back still we have, I think it's about 6 drivers yet to set flying laps. But anyway, just a reminder of how we stand in terms of the championship. Liam de Waal is shooting away in front of everyone else so far, and it's actually a Cenobite 1-2 because his teammate Colin Spork is second on 81 points. So that is 109. No, 119. I was right the first time. Behind Liam de Waal. And 6 out of second place, third place in the championship, who is Dawi Tapa. They will be followed by Dino Paolini and Michael Francesconi. So those are the drivers fighting for the lead of the championship. Also relatively close to that is Sandeep Singh, and that's the top 6. Little bit difficult to tell the remainder of the championship order because there's a few people out of place on the list that I'm looking at, but I think it's Jack Mayer 7th, followed by Pedro Mora, Sven de Vries and Tomasz Voch in terms of how the standings are at the minute. If you remember, 2 weeks ago, of course, or 1 round ago, we had Liam de Waal winning for the 8th time in succession, Tomasz Voch taking his first podium of the season and launching himself into potential contention for that 2nd place in the championship. And we also had Colin Spork rounding off the podium. That was his 3rd podium of the year. You were watching the last race, Ewan. Did you notice anything that may foreshadow this round? You know, maybe someone who did better than you were expecting them to, or maybe someone who might be launching an attack in the championship.
I think it'll be very similar to the last race with the slipstream fest that we get in Silverstone and Hockenheim. To be honest, most of the people are the people I expect to be up the top. What we do seem to get is drivers sort of not really catching the eye during a race, but rising up the top 10 and getting those good results out of it. Dawe Tapa being one of them that I think, you know, really could do something really well today if he can get qualifying in check. As well, I mean, have you seen the gap between 2nd and 8th?
Yeah, well, you were mentioning Tapa before the race actually, and I said I hadn't really noticed, but to be honest, that's the whole point. He's been very sneaky, and you know, he's been there to pick up the results when they've been available, and as a result, he is right up at the pointy end of the championship. Talking about the pointy end though, Colin Spork has gone to the top of the order. Jack Mayer has just crossed the line to go P2, so we've got 2 quick drivers up in the first 2 positions so far. Liam de Waal crossed the line, he goes second now, less than 1/10 of a second off Colin Spork. Of course, it was Spork who was giving de Waal the slipstream up towards the hairpin on that lap, and both of the Cenobites have managed to clear the rest of the field quite significantly actually, almost 3/10 of a second between de Waal and Mayer, and over 3/10 of a second between Spork and Mayer. So the Cenobites are a long way ahead of anyone else so far, as we're used to seeing. Not quite the normal order that we're used to seeing, but of course things can very quickly change in the session. One thing you'll probably notice from time to time is drivers slipstreaming their teammates up towards the hairpin. Often if you have a team where 2 drivers have been working together, you'll see that one of them tows the other one. Not literally, of course. I'm not saying they have a tow rope, but in terms of basically they can use their teammates as a wind shield, as a windbreak heading up the straight, and that gives them just a few extra miles per hour. And then of course they return the favor on the next lap, and as a result, both cars end up being faster than they would otherwise be. It's a solid tactic. We've seen it all season long, and with this circuit, with the long flat out run from turn 3 all the way up to the hairpin, it's going to be very much employed here today. Do you think it's going to affect things much that there's a bit of a kink in that straight, Ewan?
I don't think so. I think having a look at the Super Cup race and the Formula Challenge race last week, we did get well, it was very powerful, basically, that slipstream down into the hairpin. The only thing I can see it affecting is if you're too close into turn 1 and turn 2, it's going to really affect your drive out of turn 1 and 2. You got to make sure you got that distance right so that you're hitting the slipstream into turn 4, not getting caught up on the brakes.
Right, so Michael Francesconi's just gone up to 3rd place, although well, I say this with no disrespect intended to Francesconi, but more important for the pole position scrap, Colin Spork has got a good dose of slipstream from de Waal, and he is on his next flying lap. About to finish it, actually. He's set a quick first couple of sectors, in fact, fastest of everyone in the 2nd sector, and of course he's already at the top of the time, so this could end up being fastest lap that we see all day, crossing the line, and it's 1:13.369. That is very, very fast for Colin Spork. He's an up-and-coming driver. This is his first season in GPVWC, and now he's going to be returning the favour and giving the slipstream to his teammate as we watch Liam de Waal attacking and going for his pole position, potentially. He's got the DRS, he's got the slipstream. Of course, he'd have the DRS anyway because you're allowed to use it in qualifying no matter what. Spork now moves out of the way. De Waal hits his braking point for the hairpin, and the rest of the lap is on his own. So Spork, de Waal, Francesconi, Mayer, and Zuber is the top 5 order as we have just 4 minutes left in the session. Drivers setting up for their final couple of runs. I'm interested to see that Spork's still out there. That indicates that he might be going for another flying lap after this one, which is interesting since he's actually been out there for a couple of laps now, and I wasn't expecting that the tyres would still be competitive after all this time. But in fact, he's heading back to the pits now. Indeed, I forgot that you had to drive all the way back. De Waal crosses the line, and it is an improvement. It puts in P1. It's a 1:13.235. And now he has to make it all the way back to the pits again if he's going for another run. Colin Spork now exits the pit lane. But yeah, Cenobite's half a second faster than any other car on the grid at this point in time. That is quite something, really. That really is. Francesconi's just given a slipstream to his teammate. It's not still Jason Muscat, is it?
I think it was Mayer and Hamming in the
there was definitely TQ Racing cars. Jacob Reed. Okay, so we've lost Jason Muscat from that lineup, and Jacob Reed has stepped up to take his place. Okay, so that's why that was confusing me. Reed currently running 21st in all of that. My apologies for the confusion, and he is trying to jump up into the top 20 with this lap. Not quite as fast as his, in fact he doesn't jump up into the top 20, not quite as fast as his Super Cup runner-up teammate, but anyway, it's difficult to be as fast as Francesconi, one of the quickest drivers in the pack. And MDR have some quick drivers here today. Frank Hamming, who finished 2nd at the Paul Ricard round, has just set a lap. He's gone P4, whereas Jack Mayenauer has gone P6. So that means both MDRs in the top 6. There was also a big improvement from Dino Paolini, who couldn't quite get himself within half a second of Liam de Waal, but did put himself up to 3rd in the order. Ewan, a contender for best of the rest today?
Yeah, 100%. I thought it was interesting, just going back to Cenobite, how much later they were getting out of the way of each other down into the braking zone at the hairpin. The MDRs were on the screen, and they were a good 100 meters, 200 meters earlier in getting out the way of each other. And that could be why there's such a big gap and difference in time.
So Spork, on what I presume will be his final flying lap, just got a perfectly choreographed slipstream from de Waal down the straight, and I think they will have enough time. Yeah, I think they'll easily have enough time for Spork to return the favour. So this is the Cenobite's last flying run. Yannis Woolburn now jumps up to 3rd place in the Mars 1 car. That's very impressive. The Mars 1 is the most underdeveloped car, has been since the very start of the championship, and Woolburn is now P3. three. Spork through the final corner. This is his last chance. How important will this be for Colin Spork? It goes. He's pole. He's provisional pole. So Colin Spork 1:13.136. Leon Buckner goes third. That's a very impressive lap from Buck in the Scuderia Clay Geely car. We haven't seen much from that team so far this year, but that's a great lap from Buck. Now, de Waal gets the slipstream from Spork. Let's see how well they choreograph this. And if de Waal can get that pole position back from his teammate, it looks almost certain that Cenobite will be 1-2 on the grid. But here we go. Liam de Waal now to the outside of Spork, goes through, hits his braking point. Looked as if he took 2 bites at the cherry to get into the hairpin there. But anyway, still should be a quicker first sector. Yeah, indeed, it's the fastest first sector of anyone. So Liam de Waal still absolutely flying. Also flying further back is Francesconi. Oh wait, never mind, he's in the gravel. Ignore me. De Waal still has the most important lap going out of anyone on the grid through the Satch curve, and this will determine which order the Cenobite start in on the front row of the grid. Final corner for de Waal, and surely this is pole. His second sector was up as well, and it is a 1:13.098. Couldn't quite break into the 1:12s, but still, what an unbelievable lap from Liam de Waal. Brilliant teamwork between the two dominant Cenobite cars. What a car they have as well. It's not technically the best on the grid. That would be the MDR, but this one looking absolutely fine-tuned today. Giuseppe Saracino, I think, is going to be the last person to settle up. Can he get himself into the top 20? Crossing the line, he does. He gets himself up to 15th position. But anyway, that is the qualifying order. Absolutely confirmed as Poom crosses the line. He was actually the last driver to settle up. My apologies. And that means it's going to be de Waal, followed by Spork, Buck, Wilburn, Paolini, Hamming, Francesconi, Mayer, Tuber, and Lopez. And then the rest of the field, of course, penalties yet to be applied, if there are any penalties, although I will quickly look those up. But yeah, Ewan, what do you make of that dominant form from the Cenobite cars?
It wasn't even close, was it? I mean, they worked well together to make sure that they had that gap, and it's a bit ominous for the race as well, because that's probably the biggest gap we've had in qualifying this year so far. So yeah, hats off to them. They've really done well. Interesting to see Bock and Volborn in 3 and 4th. Volborn did really well in Silverstone in the same car last time out, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do from there. And obviously Paolini, who's fighting for second in the championship, will have to see what he can do from 5th. But out of all of the guys fighting for second in the championship, you'd want to be Colin Spork at the moment.
Absolutely, you would. Goodness me. And that teamwork from the Cenobites as well. Yeah, we saw great teamwork from a lot of teams up and down the grid, but the Cenobites just had it perfectly choreographed, and well, they've wiped the field there. Interestingly, though, still the top 21 cars were within a second of each other, which shows you just how close in general these Superleague Lights cars are. And actually, the field behind the Cenobites is very, very densely packed. From 3rd place all the way down to 28th, you have cars within a second of each other. That's really quite something. But it was just that the first 2 and the last 3 were a long way clear of the pack in opposite extremes. But anyway, the mid pack's going to be very, very interesting today. But anyway, let's talk about the Dutch squad, the Cenobite cars. Liam de Waal, of course, he is one of the more experienced drivers on the grid. He has been in the sport since at least I've started commentating a few years ago, and yeah, indeed, joined GPVWC, sorry, with Storm Racing Team for Superleague in 2017. Also did some Formula Challenge that year. Won a race for EG Engineering, but his real best hit to this date, or biggest hit, I should say, probably his second place at the Australian Grand Prix, the main Australian Grand Prix, Super League in 2018. This year, he's aiming to win his first GPVWC championship, with that being the Superleague Lights championship. And you have to say, without trying to sound pessimistic, that it will take pretty much a miracle to deny him of that at this point in time. He's won 8 races in a row, and he has been very much running away with it in that Cenobite car. His teammate, of course, is second in the championship. That's Colin Spork. Now, Spork is not as experienced as de Waal. In fact, he is very, very new. These GPWC races are some of his first sim races ever, and he came straight into Super League Lights, completely skipped Academy, Formula Challenge, Super Cup, went straight up to Super League Lights with Cenobite, and has immediately impressed, scoring several top 10s. He's been in the points at every single race so far this year, and he has already achieved 3 podiums as well, which is very impressive since, as I said, he is inexperienced, and he is actually only 15 years old. And every time I say that, it makes me question why I wasn't that good at 15 years old. But anyway, some people just have that natural talent, and Colin Spork is obviously one of those. You have to say, Cenobite have a absolutely dominant lineup. But let's talk as well about their main challengers in possibly in this race, in terms of the championship as a whole. They have been, who are the Mayer Downard Racing Team, of course, run by Jack Mayer and his best friend Josh Downard. And the lineup this year consists of Mayer himself. Mayer, of course, has already picked up a podium. He did so at the Baku round, and alongside him is Frank Hamming. Now, Frank Hamming, of course, also has a podium, which he inherited at Paul Ricard after 2 cars ahead of him got a penalty. Hamming joined the series later on. He's been running the last 3 races and already has a podium to his name. He replaced Lewis Bickers, who did a pretty decent job, I think, although was substituted out anyway. Frank Hamming returns for today, and he's trying to help Jack Mayer to that second spot in the championship. So, Ewan, what do you think MDR's best? What do you think the best they can do is? Do you think they might be able to attack Cenobite at the start of the race? Do you think they'll be able to maybe look at jumping them in strategy, or do they have to settle for fighting the third today?
First thing they've got to do is they've got to make up places at the start. You know, they qualified 6th and 8th, which isn't too bad. But yeah, I think it'll probably be on strategy, just because they're going to have to fight their way through the top 10. We saw last night that strategy can play a big part in the race. And actually, it doesn't look like there's a major factor between overcutting or undercutting. They both look quite powerful if you can get a good bit of clean air. So yeah, strategy will play a big part for them. We know that they're both really quick anyway. Obviously, Jack's had a podium taken away from him, so he's already lost that handful of points. So we know that they've got the pace. It's just whether they can fight their way through.
He has, of course. He ended up being classified 4th at that round in Paul Ricard. Was penalised due to, I think, some contact towards the end of the race. In terms of penalties today, I said I was going to look that up, didn't I? Okay. From last time, we have 10 slots for Matthias Ronzani. Is he here today? I don't see him, so I don't know if that. No, I don't think he's here. We also have. I think that may be it. No, Pascal Schmidt, 10 slot penalty as well. And I think that may be it after that. Pascal Schmidt, he is here today, is he? I thought I saw him. Yes, I did. He is here today. So he will probably be starting from near the back of the grid. There are a couple of drivers I don't recognise here, actually. Sven Schubert is in the Mars 1, the second Mars 1 car. Not sure if he's done any more rounds in the series. I'll try to update you on that. And also I saw another name, Blake Checketts. Was he here last time? The name rings a bell.
No, he wasn't, but he has raced in either Formula Challenge or Super Cup, I believe.
Okay, I'll look them up. Well, anyway, our cameraman seems to think he did the last Academy race. Oh, he did. Okay, yeah, he's done Formula Challenge. Hasn't scored a point yet in Formula Challenge, so he'll need to step up a little bit today.
He
And
qualified
apparently,
fourth at Silverstone. He's got pace. He just needs to link it all up together. But
okay.
I think he has shown quite a bit of promise.
Apparently, he has also done Academy, which is probably where I know his name from. Thanks for that. Also, quick shout out to our cameraman and our streamer, who is, of course, Gerrit de Vries, as always. And de Vries, of course, did a good job of getting. There was a problem with the overlays before the race started, and got that sorted, and also managed to get Ewan set up nicely as well. Just looking up Sven Schubert, he did a so he did a Super League race back in 2017. Did the Monaco Grand Prix for Storm. Came 13th in that. That's not a bad debut actually. He did Super Cup back in 2013, 14, and 15. So this is an experienced driver we're talking about here, and also did Formula Challenge 2013, 14, and 17. Hasn't done a full season of anything yet, but he's been in and around Super League and GPVWC as a whole. And it looks to me as if this is his first GPVWC event since that Monaco Grand Prix he did. So welcome back to Sven Schubert. And yeah, good to see an experienced returning member joining us again in Superleague Lights. Ewan, are you familiar at all with either of those new drivers, whether that be Checkets or Schubert?
Schubert, I'm not, to be completely honest. I know that he's in for Harvey for this round. Checkits, like I said, I think he's with Valley Esports in Formula Challenge. So I've seen him over the last few rounds since he came in. I think he came in Baku. I'm not sure he was in the championship before then. But like I said, he's shown promise. He has got speed. It's just been trying to link it up through the qualifying and the two races. When he's had a good qualifying, he's had a problem in the race. If he's had a poor qualifying, he's managed to do decently and get into the bottom portion of the points. So yeah, I think obviously he's qualified down in 24. He'll go up to 23rd, I think, with Schmidt's penalty. But yeah, he's definitely a driver that could rise through here.
Fair enough. Thanks for your knowledge there. Also, a couple of other drivers to just rejoin the server. We do now have all 30 cars. It's a full house here at Superleague Lights, and that is always what we like to see. We've had quite a few full houses so far this season, and yeah, to be honest, I never understand when we don't get everyone here because. Yeah, I understand that sometimes things happen, but surely there are drivers queuing up to take part in Super League Lights. But anyway, I know it's more complicated than that sometimes. Still, 30 cars here today, and interestingly, that might give us a little problem with traffic because it's a very short track. It's only 1 minute 15 if you do it quickly, and as a result, that means you have quite a lot of cars for the track space available, and that could lead to some lapperies. Of course, we didn't actually get that much lappery last time out at Silverstone, but Silverstone is a longer track than this one. Yeah, what do you think about that, Ewan?
Yeah, I think it could prove quite difficult. To be completely honest, I'm surprised we didn't see as much of it in qualifying. Everyone managed to space themselves out quite well, especially when you see how fast the Cenobite cars will definitely get a few. I think today it is a short track, like you said. The good news is that there are portions of the track that are quite wide. If you get some traffic into the stadium section, you're going to lose a bit of time, but after that, you should be fine. There's plenty of DRS zones as well.
So, considering that a track takes, I'm going to say 16 seconds, and we divide that by 30 cars on the road, that means you're going to be witnessing a car. If you were standing in one point on the track, you'd witness a car coming past you every 2.5 seconds on average. So that's quite a packed track. And yeah, of course, we're going to get some, we're going to lose some of those cars through attrition as the race goes on. And talking of attrition, I'm hearing talk of rain. Is it raining? I'm hearing talks. Yeah. There's raindrops coming down. So looks as if we might get a wet start to this race, but it hasn't been raining for long. so it may still be dry enough for slicks. That's going to be really, really interesting here, because well, we're gonna get gambles in terms of tire choice here, and another thing to note is you have to use 2 compounds of tire unless you use a wet compound of tire, in which case that rule doesn't apply to you. So, this could be really interesting here, Ewan.
It might be interesting to see which drivers are the bravest in terms of switching between compounds. You know, getting it a lap out, whether on the right side or the wrong side, you can either be hero zero. And yeah, I imagine it will be the guys sort of 17th downwards that would take a gamble, if there is a gamble to be made. Hopefully it'll stay dry so we can see some good battles. But if it is wet, we've seen this season already that it does spice up the racing, and we do get a bit of everything happening. So
You're absolutely right. Now remember, the cars in the top 10 have a choice of either the tyre that they qualified on or wet tyres, whereas everyone from 11th back has the choice of any tyre compound. So that could change things. It may mean that the drivers further back go for more of a gamble. Personally, I would probably start on soft tires no matter where I was on the grid, if I thought that it was slick tire weather at the start, because that would give me a stint on the faster tires before having to switch over to wets if it does indeed continue to rain. I don't think there's any sense in starting on, say, hard tires or medium tires or whatever, and then having to switch over, before a soft tires had chance to wear, because then you've just, you've wasted a stint on slower tires. So I wouldn't be surprised if that means it's softs or inters at the start of this race here. Do you see
no,
what I mean?
I'd 100% agree. You're absolutely right. Any advantage that you would get starting on the mediums, you're looking at the guys who qualify 11th to 15th, maybe, who are trying to get up into the top 10. You're going to lose that advantage because you're not going to be able to prolong your stint and get on the faster tyres at the end. So you're exactly right. Why would you waste a stint when you could at least stay with the guys in front and stay ahead of the guys behind, and then try and maybe get a bit clever on when you switch to your wet tyres?
Or you could take a really big gamble and start on mediums anyway and hope that it doesn't rain. But anyway, I do think that would be quite a gamble, and I knew that if I was on this grid, no matter where I was starting, I would 100% go for the soft tyres. But anyway, and that does appear to be what people are doing, although sometimes tyre compounds take a while to load in, so they're a little bit inaccurate at this point in time. But anyway, just to run you through the grid order, it's going to be Liam Duval and Colin Spork on the front row of the grid, the 2 Cenobites 1 and 2, and I think that may be the first time that's happened this year, surprisingly. I may be completely wrong, though. Leon Buck will be starting from 3rd place in the Scuderia Clay Geely car, alongside Yanis Wilburn in the Maris 1 car. Great qualifying from Yanis there. Dino Paolini will be 5th place, followed by Frank Hamming, Michael Francesconi, Jack Mayer, James Zuber, Alejandro Lopez, Mike Quint, Sebastian Kosmala, Tomasz Bach, Sandeep Singh, Giuseppe Saracino, George Sutton, Dowie Tapper, Danny Robbins, Yucca-Pekka Lali, Pedro Mora, Heigo Poom, Blake Checketts, Sven Schubert in his return to the series, Jacob Reed, Christian Malcherak, Roy Schroten, Bruno Sousa Ferreira, Johan Lindberg, then Pascal Schmidt, who was penalised, and Ivan Leonov, who I don't think qualified. But anyway, those are the 30 cars that will be starting this race, and I do see some intermediates on the road. Leonov has intermediates. A couple of cars ahead of him have hard tyres. Now that's really interesting. I wasn't expecting to see hards at the start, but maybe those drivers are just hoping that it doesn't rain, or at least doesn't rain for a while. I personally think it's a mistake, but actually I'm starting to wonder whether I haven't loaded it in properly, because I also see some hard tyres in the top 10, and that's not supposed to happen. Yes, indeed, now that's updated, so there aren't hard tyres in the top 10, and I may have just got that completely wrong. But anyway, 1 car starting on intermediates, and that is Ivan Leonov from the back of the grid, Ewan.
Yeah, on my race view, it does
No,
say that Pedro Mora's got some as well.
well, you're right. Pedro Mora is also on the Inters. My apologies. Pedro Mora is on Inters. So 2 cars going for the the risk of and Leonov suffering from understeer on the formation like that, going straight on at the hairpin and rejoining the track. I do think it's a big risk because I don't see any raindrops in the air right now. It was raining slightly in warm-up, but I'm not sure it is now. And yeah, the track may be slightly damp, but there's no guarantee that it's going to rain again at all. And as a result, these drivers, surely they're going to have to pit at the end of the first lap to stop those inters from overheating.
They need it to absolutely bucket it down for a lap or two, otherwise their race is over before
Leonov stopped. I think, yeah, he's going back to the pit. So he is elected to start from the pit lane on softs. I think he's realised his mistake. So Leonov will be starting from the pit. Of course, he was going to be starting from the back of the grid anyway. And that means that the only driver starting on the inters at the start of this race will be Pedro Mora. Will this work out brilliantly for him, or will it be a huge mistake? We're about to find out. Here come the 5 red lights. Remember, it's the 2 Cenobites on the front row of the grid. Liam de Vries will be starting from his left-hand side, the outside of turn 1. Colin Spork will be starting from 2nd position. And you have to say, Spork's job will probably to act as a rear gunner here. Leon Buck will be 3rd. Yanis Warburn 4th. That 2nd row of the grid, you're looking for the purpley car of Leon Buck and the yellow and black car of Yanis Warburn. Still, the lights not coming on just yet, so I'm not sure who's not in position. But anyway, now the lights begin to come on. You see the marshal there preparing the green flag. 5 red lights are on and extinguished. Away we go. And Liam de Vries will probably lead down into turn 1. Warburn smoking a bit, and there's a crash behind. Someone's in the wall already and pointing backwards with their nose off, and that is Sebastian Kosmala. So that's already happened. Up in front, de Vries is leading from Spork as was expected, as Box held 3rd as well. That's important. Further back, the 2 MDR cars are absolutely together. There's smoking cars from that long hold all the way up and down the grid. Now cars going 3 wide up towards the hairpin. Watch as Sutton's attacked by Poom. I think there's going to be moves going on further up in front. There is indeed 3 wide. Zuba is under attack from Quint, and Quint goes... no, that was Zuba attacking Quint, and Zuba gets 8th place. Quint is down to 9th. And then it's Alejandro Lopez behind them. Now we stream through to the second half of the lap. De Vries, Spork, Buck, Wilbur. So change further back. Saracino went, and slight contact, and Saracino's going to spin. So Saracino does point backwards. Hopefully everyone avoids him. No, they don't, and he's been hit by his teammate. That is bitter luck there. Bitter luck for the 2 TR Blue. Are they TR? No, they're not TR Blue Boss cars. Sorry, they are TTF BBR racing cars who have come together in all of that. That was just Saracino being forced over the curb, and it's all going wrong. Dino Paolini's had a spin in all of that. Pedro Mora's lost his rear wing, and we're going to have a couple of cars into the pits at the end of this lap, I think. Sven Schubert's run wide on his return to the series, and at the end of the first lap it looks as if the leaders have been very much unaffected, but yeah, further back there were a couple of cars who were pointing in a variety of very interesting directions. Saracino into the pits, missing his front wing. Kosmala into the pits, missing his front wing. Checkett's in, no front wing. Ferreira in, no front wing. And Dino Paolini's had a big accident. He's missing the front right hand corner of his car altogether. And I'm not quite sure how that happened. But Ewan, what do you make of that?
It was a chaotic start, wasn't it? Paolini not good for his championship. The biggest sort of sadness for me is the fact that the 2 TTFs collided. That means that Mora, who was on Inters, had to pit anyway, and we might not find out whether that was a good choice or not.
Now Paolini crashed out because it was Suso Ferreira, Bruno Suso control, and Paolini couldn't avoid him. We've now lost Saracino from the race. Saracino, one of the drivers who had to pit at the end of the first lap, and it looks to me as if he exited the pit lane without his front wing, unless I'm seeing that wrong for some reason. But anyway, he is now out of the race, and that means we've had 3 retirements because Pedro Mora is also out of the race in all of that as well. So yeah, we have lost both TTF BBR cars, and that is a big shame. So de Vries has run away with it now, and further back and Buck, I think, is going for Spork. Buck has a great run, and Spork for second place. He goes to the right-hand side, the inside for the hairpin, and it looks as if he's going to jump up into second position here. Now, can Warburn follow him through? He's got the inside, and I think Spork has a big slide. Spork has a massive slide, holds the car somehow. Now, Warburn will briefly have the inside line, and he uses it to his advantage and gets up into third place, and Spork has the slot into fourth. So Spork then made a mistake coming through turn 2, and that set him up really badly for the next couple of corners. Looks like he's suffering from a bit of understeer here as well, but that's important because that's split the Cenobites, and that means that de Waal no longer has his rear gunner, and Spork's going to have to work hard to get back onto the tail of him here.
Yeah, what Bock did was very clever. He never drifted wide. He got the car stopped. Well, that pushed Spork out. Spork couldn't get the cut back on him. He left him vulnerable to Volbon. De Waal's got a nice gap because of that battle, so it'll be interesting to see whether Bock can close in and get the DRS back to him.
DRS is available now, and of course you have to be within a second of the car in front. Bock is not. He is 1.6 seconds behind de Waal. Now we'll see if he can reel him in and get back in that DRS zone or not. Volburn does have DRS off the back of Bock, and Spork still has DRS off Volburn as well. Francesconi also there, they are also there, etc, because we're still in the very early stages of this race. My goodness, they're getting close again down at the hairpin. That tends to happen, but I've just seen Francesconi in Spork's case cam, and that's how you know he's getting close. Wide goes Hygo Poom. He's going to lose a place to Sandeep Singh further back. Those are two drivers who I expect may feature towards the end of the race. Sandeep Singh, especially if it doesn't rain, because he started on the hard tyres, which I thought was a bit of a risk, and he will be praying that there is no rain for this race. But anyway, the clouds looking very, very ominous overhead. Still no rain drops though. Sorry, what was that? Light drizzle, so we won't see it. Okay. So apparently there is a light drizzle. I don't see anything, but that'll mean the track will be humid, if not damp. But anyway, another few laps completed, and it's still and I believe Blake Checkett's back in the pits, so something else has happened to Blake Checkett's there. He's been in twice, so not a great Superleague Lights debut from Blake. And it looks. Well, I'm wondering whether he started the race in Inters, because on my screen it looks as if he did. Okay, he may be switching to Inters. Sven Schubert is. So Sven Schubert, another one of the new drivers to Superleague Lights, he has gone on to Inters. And I think the rain is starting to come down a little bit heavier. Just seen a spin from Danny Robbins, so maybe the track getting a little bit greasy at this point in time. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen a couple of raindrops. It's difficult to tell. Oh, and well, what happened there? I think Spork had a look. Oh, Spork did. In fact, Spork got past Warburn and then went off, and Warburn's gone back through. Goodness, sorry for missing that. Yeah, Spork slipstream Warburn, went through into third place and then ran wide in the Mercedes arena. Back through went Warburn. So the fight for the podium's still on. My apologies that I missed that. But yeah, it's looking greasy out there on track at this point in time. Still no heavy raindrops, but yeah, I think it must be coming down as a light drizzle. Goodness me, yeah.
It's the third time that Spork's gone off, so I wonder, and all of them have been him going slightly offline on entry, so I do wonder whether that is a contributing factor to that.
James Tuber and Alejandro Lopez and Thomas Fock all switching on to Inters now. Walker, of course, was on the podium last time out, and now he's on the intermediate tyres. Lopez and Tuber coming out together. They're a long way down the order due to that, but of course this could end up working absolutely to their favour. Spork now attacked by Francesconi. Francesconi gets through into fourth place. Spork appears to be struggling in these conditions. I'm not sure he's ever raced in the wet before. Francesconi up into fourth position now, and Spork down to fifth. Now, as Warburn runs slightly wide there, that's going to cost him a tenth of a second or two. Another interesting factor is, of course, we can't get safety cars in this, so if you lose too much time, the field isn't going to be bunched up again, and you're not getting that time back. So that's why risks have to be even more carefully calculated in this series. And you can't. And Sporks made another mistake. He ran wide at the Thatch cover, and Mayer almost got up his inside there. Sporks skating around. I do think his car was probably set up more for the dry conditions, and he's struggling a bit, dropping back through the order. And of course, I mean no disrespect to Spork. He's a very impressive young talent, and the track suddenly got darker, and I think that's a sign that the rain may be about to come down heavier. I saw the clouds get even darker in a flash there. And this is very bad news for Colin Spork. Hygo Plume now into the pits. He's probably, and there is a plume of spray on the home straight. The home straight has a plume of spray emerging from behind the cars, and that shows you that it is damp there. Spork's now going wide again. Mayer is up his inside, and Jack Mayer is now up into 5th place. Spork is now under attack from the other MDR of Frank Hamming, and Hamming looks as if he might be about to get through here down into the Mercedes arena potentially. Not quite there. He needs to be further alongside his opponent, but Spork's going to run wide. Spork's going to run very wide. Spork is off the road, and Hamming goes through into 6th place. Spork struggling even more now. Well, he's got a bit of a buffer behind to Mike Quint, so if I was Spork, I would probably pit now for Inters. What do you think, Ewan?
Yeah, I would definitely. Vok on his out lap managed to do a personal best middle sector, fastest last sector of the race. Lopez has already got past Zuba, so I think Lopez is liking the Inters a little bit more than the Royal Blue Racing.
Spork's in the pits, just as I expected. In he comes, and that'll be for Inters. You see the plume of spray now erupting from behind the car. And still, I don't see any heavy rain, but it's definitely coming down because the track is getting greasier, the cars are getting slippier, and the pit lane is getting busier. Spork now going onto those Inters. He's going to be dropping down out of the points-paying positions temporarily. Oh, big slide from Leonov, and he is on the Inters, showing you just how oh no, he isn't. Sorry, he's on the medium. My apologies. Out of the pits comes Spork, and he's actually still among the point scorers. He's side by side with James Zuber for 14th position behind the battling pair of Lopez and Schmidt. And Lopez has just flown past Schmidt. And he is, Lopez is on the Inters and Schmidt is on slicks, and that shows you the difference. And now Spork's going to get Schmidt as well. So definitely the Inter. And contact! Spork has been driven into! Spork has been hit from behind and he's lost his front wing. There's been an accident down at the hairpin, and that was just James Zuber braking later than him, possibly trying to follow him past Pascal Schmidt. And they've come to blows, and that's got to be gutting for Colin Spork. That's his first crash in Superleague Lights ever. And that's a big shame.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault either. You kind of see it coming down into the hairpin sometimes, you know, when you've got that many cars, especially when you've got someone who's not on the wet tyres, and it obviously is affecting the slick tyres.
And Duval's in for the lead. My apologies for interrupting there, but Duval is in from the lead. Quint and Vulburn following. Oh, and Quint and Vulburn come together in the pit lane there. It's getting so busy down there. It's carambolage. Duval now exits the pits in 8th position. Leon Boch leads the race.
Lopez was in P9 before the pit stops for Inters, and then he got past Spork. So that tells you how good a decision it was to get onto the Inters early.
Lopez is going to be gaining so much from this. Now, who was it who started on the intermediate tyres? I think it was Heiko Poom, but he ended up making a pit stop anyway, so I don't think anyone's going to be gaining massively from this, except the people, of course, who pitted earlier. Alejandro Lopez has been a big gainer in this, and I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up in the podium positions when this all sorts itself out. Leonov and Quint side by side. Leonov flies past Quint flies past Leonov on those wet tyres, and really this is a bad time to be on slicks. Spork has pitted again for a new front wing, and yeah, he's got that on his car. He's down in 25th position. Now, the rest of the race will all be about what Spork can salvage, how high. Oh, and contact, and Walburn's spinning. Walburn's made contact with Lindberg. Now, I wasn't expecting that. And of course, Walburn at least has been one of the top runners in this race so far. And that was, oh my goodness, well, Lindberg lost it on slick tyres. He ran wide. He went over the white line, and that was so slippery. And around he went, and Walburn just couldn't avoid him. And luckily, you have to give credit to Lindberg there. Oh, wait, no, never mind. I thought he was waiting. for Wilburn, but it's more than that. It looks to me as if Limburg has a problem because he's stopped by the side of the road and he's not getting going again. Francesconi is side by side with Wook. They are fighting hard. Zuber is just ahead of. In fact, they're fighting with Lopez as well. So this could end up being the fight for the podium, Ewan.
Yeah, absolutely. Lopez has done brilliantly since he pitted. I'm really surprised that neither of the MDRs have pitted yet.
Round the
Really
outside goes Tuber and he's run wide, and Walker's run even wider. Robbins over the white line. Francesconi gets past him. Francesconi here could be one of the biggest players in this race at this point in time. Jack Mayer now leads the race. Oh, and contact between Tuber and Lopez, and somehow they both keep pointing the correct direction. Goodness me. So de Waal now back up into third overall, meaning only, well, you've got, and it's both the MDRs who are staying out on slicks. They're hoping that the rain gets lighter and stops. And in fact, the plume of spray appears to have gotten lesser on the front straight. It stopped raining. It stopped raining. So this is another dramatic twist in this race. If the rain stays away, this could end up playing into the hands of MDR because they might not end up needing to stop for a while. They may, well, let's see what Jacob Reed does. So he's and he goes onto inters, possibly a bit late to do that. He was on slicks, now he's gone onto inters, and most of the drivers out there still on slicks are probably hoping, they're probably trying to last as long as possible to see if the pendulum swings in the other direction. Here goes Buck. He's passing Singh for 4th position, and Leon Buck is, well, he is on inters, so Leon Buck may end up in 2nd position, but you have to keep in mind that the two MDRs are 1st and 2nd and won't need to stop for inters unless it starts raining worse again.
Yeah, absolutely, and to be fair, it doesn't seem that bad a decision if it has stopped raining. De Waal's just done the fastest first sector, so the inters aren't going to slow up that quickly. He's another 8/10 up on the front two in the 2nd sector. Yeah, it's really up in the air, really. I don't think we can really say which strategy is the best and which not.
So, indeed, check it to Limburg. I mentioned earlier that they both stopped. They're both now out of the race. So we've had 5 retirements and 25 cars still running. Sadly, Colin Spork running all the way down in 24th, and Bruno Cicifera also badly affected in 25th. The only... Oh, well, I was going to say the only 2 drivers off the lead lap, but I think we've only got 1 driver off the lead lap, with that being Bruno Cicifera. Colin Spork just crossed the line to update things. But anyway, so Mayer now leads the race by 2.9 seconds from Hamming. Liam de Waal is approaching them and catching them fast on those inters, but he's got to act fast because if he has to switch back to slicks, that's going to cost him some time. So it's Mayer, Hamming, de Waal, and de Waal is gaining, but for how long will that happen? Leon Buck is in 4th place, followed by Sandeep Singh. Then it's Alejandro Lopez and James Zuber, who are fighting over 6th place. And Zuber is now going back to the outside. This is where they came together a couple of laps ago. And Zuber gets deposited off the road, and goodness me, and there's contact with Francesconi, who gets walloped off the road. Tomasz Wok goes through into 8th position. Francesconi went back down to 9th. What do you make of that?
It was very clever car positioning from Lopez, I thought. Zuber was never going to get around the upside there. We've already seen how slippery it is offline, with people getting a bit squirrely on the exit. And yeah, it was just wrong place, wrong time for Francesconi, I think.
De Waal has caught Hamming. De Waal has caught Hamming, and he's in the DRS, and he's got the DRS open. And as we approach the long parabolica, followed by the straight towards the hairpin, this is going to be probably difficult. I can't see Hamming holding off de Waal here. De Waal has the DRS, and he's going to go through. Does he go to the inside? Yes, he does. And I don't see Hamming holding him off. So de Waal does indeed go through to 2nd, and it's going to be tough for Mayer to hold him off. They have 2 seconds of an advantage, but I'm not sure that's going to be enough. We'll see. But
it won't. He was 3 seconds faster on the last lap. He was 3 seconds faster than Mayer on the last lap. What I do think that MDR might be trying to do now is we're only about 4 laps away from what would have been the pit stop window in a dry race. So if they can stretch to the normal pit stop window, it does give them a bit of flexibility with their strategy later on in the race.
Now, will they go for the hards and try to make it a 1-stop and hope it doesn't rain? Because I see that the skies are getting bluer now.
I think
Oh, and a big slide for Mir. Big slide for Mir coming out of the final corner. And that puts Liam de Waal within the DRS range. And this is probably the lap where Liam de Waal will retake the lead of the race. You see, I think they're in a bit of a stressful situation because if they go into hards and then it starts raining, that's a big misfortune. I think they'd probably be safer on the medium. I think it would keep them more flexible. But I'm not sure if they'd be able to do one stop on it. Here comes de Waal. He goes to the inside, does he? Yes, he does, of Jack Mir, and that is going to be easy peasy. Oh, no, it isn't. He's run wide again, and Mir goes back through, and Hamming's alongside him. Okay, well, Hamming wasn't able to get back through, but that's going to be a little bit of a delay for Liam de Waal. He may have to wait until the end of this lap, but yeah, that's probably the first mistake I've seen from Liam de Waal all season. But anyway, Jack Mir still leads the race for the time being. Wach and Francesconi are side by side again for 8th place. Wach keeps that for the time being. Francesconi back to the outside. That's where they came together last lap. And I'm backs out of it. But my goodness. Oh, and a huge slide for Mir, and he's gonna. Wow, great save. And he's and somehow he's kept de Waal behind him, and he's still skating. Skates wide. De Waal retakes the lead of the race. Good save for Mir, but it wasn't enough to save the lead.
That's the problem when you're on the slick tyres in these conditions. You're fine if you're on the racing line. As soon as you put a wheel out, you're in big trouble. He got way wide through the stadium section.
And a problem for someone, and it's Juba. Juba's had a spin. So Juba's had a spin, and now he's coming into the pits. My apologies for interrupting that.
No, that's fine. That'll drop him out of podium contention.
Yeah, I expect so. He was also tagged slightly on his way round by Wach, but Wach got away with it fairly nicely. He has got Francesconi very close for comfort, though.
And again, he's not even half a car offline. It wasn't a bad mistake, but it's so punishing getting on the slippery outside line.
Absolutely, it is. So, men are sticking with in fact, very much sticking with de Waal on this lap. There's a dry line forming. Is it de Waal's turn to start struggling potentially? This is so tense. You never know which way the pendulum's going to swing. Although I can tell you, the sky is looking so much bluer than it was before, and I wouldn't be surprised. I'm probably cursing it now, but I wouldn't be surprised if we go to the end of the race with no more rain. And I think the drivers will probably be thinking the same thing. And I wouldn't be surprised if the next stop sees a high demand for mediums.
Brock's just done the fastest lap now. So Brock and de Waal are still the fastest men on the circuit on the inters. What is interesting is that 3-second gap between the inters and the slicks is now closed up. Mayer's only 3/10 off now.
Yeah, but it's really interesting how Mayer and Hamming are keeping with him. They both have the DRS still on this lap. And let's see how close they get up towards the hairpin. I'm not expecting an overtake, but they're certainly very, very close. Hamming pulling all the way out just to get maximum visibility, and also he knows he doesn't want to attack Mayer. He's basically he's here to be Mayer's rear gunner, considering he didn't make the full season. Working Francesconi, 3 wide with Alejandro Lopez, and they've both got past him, I think. Unless it was Lopez coming from behind. Oh, and contact again between Wach and Francesconi. And oh my word, and Lopez is going to get them both on the inside, and that was opportunistic, but very, very brave. And he is going to get them both. Goodness me. Oh, and Wach comes back at him. Not far enough alongside him. That was really tense. I really expected one of them to go spearing into the other two. Somehow they avoid a Singapore 2017 style situation. Mike Quint is right on the tail of and de Waal's pitting. So de Waal does pit now, and he will probably go on to a slick comparative tyre. Let's see exactly what he chooses. This will probably be our first view into what the strategy will be for the rest of the race. It's medium. So de Waal trying to remain flexible. Tomasz Wach now also into the pits, as is Mike Quint. So some of the big hitters, some of the top 10 are all going for that medium strategy, yes. And Quint goes hard. Sorry, what was that? Okay, we're having some issues with the stream. I'm not sure. Are we still online? Can they still hear us? Okay, so if you can still hear us, apparently we're having some issues with the stream, and we do apologize. We do apologize for that. Okay, so our cameraman is reconnecting to the server, and I will do my best to keep you updated while that is going on. Jack Mir is still leading by 0.6 of a second from Frank Hamming due to their slick tyres, which actually, it looked to me as if it wasn't the right call to start off with, but it may end up being that way. Very clever play from MDR, and also very brave. But yeah, that's given them an advantage. Liam de Waal has come out in 8th position. He's got a couple of cars on Inters ahead of him, who he's now beginning to catch. And into the pits come that chain of Inters. It's Lopez and Tapper. They're both into the pit lane. Probably both about to switch onto slicks. Now de Waal will probably have to make up 19 seconds plus 5 positions if he's going to win this race still, and that's going to be difficult, although not impossible for Liam de Waal, as we're still only 30% of the way into the race. Lopez went medium, Tapper went medium, Reed went hard. Cosman is also into the pits as well, although hasn't reached his box yet. Oh wow, 3 wide on the straight. Lopez, Schmidt, and Quint, who come out of it in that order, and that was because Lopez was exiting the pits ahead of the bunch of them. Quint, the only one of these still on Inters, and Quint's going to get him easily, I think. So definitely the pendulum has swung back in the other direction. Slick tyres are the tyres to be on, and Quint goes back up into 8th place, Ewan.
Yeah, Sandeep Singh just did the fastest lap of the race on 18 lap old hard tyres, so that tells you everything you need to know about the track
Yeah.
conditions at the moment. That was all triggered by Yanis Walborn and Jakapeka Lalu pitting. Walborn went into the hard, so I imagine he'll go to the end of the race on those. Anyone who's on mediums, I expect to go to softs at the end.
Well, Singh's gone that fast because he's hunting down Leon Buck, and I'm surprised that Buck hasn't pitted for slicks yet, because he was one of the earlier drivers to react to the wet weather, although now he's going to be a sitting duck as Sandeep Singh comes through. So Singh's going to get up to 3rd place here, which he does so cleanly and nicely indeed. And now Singh is going to go after the MDR guys for what could end up being the lead of the race potentially. There's 4 seconds between them at this point in time, although as you say, Singh is absolutely flying, and Mir and Hamming are probably soon to pit, so I wouldn't be surprised if Singh leads the race before long. De Waal and Francesconi side by side again, and what's, oh my word, and that's De Waal getting elbowed off the road. So De Waal, so I was confused because I thought it was Walker at first, but yeah, that was De Waal on the outside of Francesconi, not able to get through that time. Francesconi defended hard, and Francesconi had to run wide. That's going to cost him about half a second, maybe as much as a second, and he's got to do that all over again.
Yeah, de Waal's really got to make up his time as well, because like I said, I think on the mediums he's going to have to make another stop. That puts him a net 17 seconds down on the front two. He's going to have to make that up. He will be able to, probably. I expect Hamming and Mayer to go onto a one-stopper on the hards. They've managed to get to lap 20 on these soft tyres. So, I think this race is going to be really close at the end. We've just got to wait for it to develop.
I honestly have no idea who... Goodness me, I honestly have no idea who race. It's anyone's game in this top 10 here. And you have to say, I think Jack May is a good pick for the win, because as de Waal's about to pass Francesconi, he's going to the right-hand side, and he's going to go back up into 4th position as it is now, and makes it stick, I think. Yes, he does. So de Waal up into 4th place. As I was going to say, Mayer, I think, is a good pick for this win, because he has Frank Hamming for company. Of course, that is if indeed Frank Hamming is going to be acting as a rear gunner. We don't know for sure, because it's actually Hamming ahead of Mayer at this point in time. So I think either of those could win, depending on what the team strategy is. And Sandeep Singh, of course, he's running long on the hard, so he will lead the race soon, I expect. In fact, he's going to lead the race now, or very soon anyway, because Mayer's in the pits. Hamming stays out for another lap, so Mayer's going to be stopping for what I presume will be either mediums or hards. And is he going to go for... He is going to go for hard, so I believe it's going to be a one-stop for MDR, and that could end up being a good call. Francesconi also into the pits. He ran it very long on those inters, and much like with Leon Buck, I'm very surprised that he stayed out that long, and I'm a bit confused as to why he didn't stop earlier. But anyway, Liam de Waal, of course, you can't discount him for a win. He's got about 17 seconds to make up, but if anyone can do it, then Liam de Waal can. And really, I think those are my top 4 picks for the win. I think it's either going to be Hamming, Singh, de Val, or Mir.
Yeah, I don't know about Singh. I think he might be a little bit out of position because he started on the hards and he's worked his way up. Deval's got a bit of a task to do. Like I said, I think he's probably got another pit stop. If he gets to the end of the race on these mediums, I'd be absolutely amazed. How close can Jack Mayer stay to the back of him now when they've got a different compound on? That's going to decide the race, really.
One thing I have been noticing as Frank Hamming now comes in, so Sandeep Singh does lead the race. One thing I've been noticing throughout the whole of this series so far is I always say, well, they can't make it to the end of the race there. I think they're going to have to stop again. And then they don't. So I think as Hamming goes on to hard tyres, so yeah, I think that's going to be a one stop for Hamming. He's been passed now by de Val as well. So de Val back up into second, and Hamming will come out just ahead of Jack Mayer, which is exactly where he was when he pitted. But as I was saying, I think it's more that the drivers pit when they think they can get the maximum out of their second tyre comp, rather than when their first tyre compound starts to go off. But I may be getting that completely wrong. Mayer has DRS from Hamming, and I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to fight. I don't think they're going to fight, but I'm not sure exactly. I don't know if they have a kind of hold station multi 21, multi 1-2 sort of thing, or whether one of the two is here to help the other one. But anyway, it's Hamming ahead of Mayer at this point in time, and they have Leon Bock right there for company. And Bock, of course, on relatively fresh, slick tyres as well, but softer slick tyres, which is important.
Yeah, I think they're better off letting Leon Bock go if he does make a move because, like I said, I think he'll have to make a pit stop on his mediums, and there's no point ruining a race, losing time when you've got a bigger fish to fry, basically. Yeah, I don't know, 37, 38 laps, is that doable on mediums? I'm not so sure. It might be. Track temp might help them, especially because we've had a bit of rain on the surface. It's not a blisteringly hot track temp, so that might be an aid to the medium tyre runners. But I do think that we've still got a pit stop left for Deval, Bock, Tapper, Francesconi. Lopez already back in the pits.
Yeah, Lopez into the pits, and I think that's a disappointment for him because when the rain started to come down and he was one of the first to pit, you said he'd be a dark horse in this race. You said he'd jumped many positions in the effective order, and he has, but he really could have done with it raining for longer. Now he's right back the way down to 20th position. But anyway, also seen a change. I think Darry Tapper's fighting with Mike Quint. Yeah, they're wheel to wheel. That's over 6th position in the race. And Quint's going to have the outside line for the Mercedes Arena, but he's going to be ahead. Oh, and there's contact, and Quint's going to have it. Oh, that's a big crash. And he's lost his rear wing, and that may well be race over for Mike Quint. I don't see him coming back from that. That's really, really disappointing. And again, I don't think that was his fault. That's the second time this race we've seen someone being rear-ended, and Tapper's going to have to pit as well because he's got no front wing.
I mentioned Tapper before the race, so I think that's my first ever commentator's curse.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, that was just getting the braking wrong, I think. I don't think there was any malicious actions there, but yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, I don't mean to imply that there was any malicious action. I knew that there wasn't. Big shame, and you have to feel sorry for Mike Quint because he was doing a really good job in this race. Leon Bock is now going to get past Jack Mayer. Here he goes up the inside into the hairpin, and Mayer's best chance is to cut back, but there's a car there. So there we go. Leon Bock now up into 4th position, and it makes it stick. Darry Tapper is now into the pits. Anyway, yeah, Leon Bock up into 4th place. And Quint has retired, just as I expected. We now have 24 cars remaining in the race. Now, how quickly will Buck catch Hamming, and will he be able to get past him in one go like that?
I think so. He's got the tyre advantage, so I would expect him to go through. And like I said, I wouldn't expect Hamming to put up much of a fight. Their fight is with Deval at the end of the race. They need to make sure that they keep their tyres in check, make sure they've got enough life in these hard tyres at the end to probably defend a soft tyre assault at the end.
Just a quick update on Colin Spork. He's on soft tyres, he's in 17th place, and he's got past Danny Robbins just as So his last licking. Oh my word! Big dive from Lopez behind, and Lopez is he's gonna run right on there. And to be honest, if I was Robbins, I'd be feeling a bit aggrieved by that. And I think Lopez probably should be giving that place back. But anyway, maybe not my place to say. But yeah, as I was saying, Colin Spork making a recovery drive, but it's going pretty slowly. And I think he is still going to score points today, but sadly, it's going to be a long way down the order from where he arguably should be.
Roy Schroten is in 10th. He started in P26. Now I know
Good
that
spot.
might be strategy related, but that's a hell of a drive.
Also, you were right about Buck. He has managed to get past Hamming in one go. So Leon Buck up into third place. But yeah, as you say, Roy Schroten, who started right the way down, right at the back of the order, is in 10th position. And he did make a pit stop. So actually, in fact, I think he's
He's
made
in
2
there.
pit stops. Sorry?
He's right in the battle then. He is there on merit.
Goodness me. Yeah, Roy Schroten right up there. That is interesting. Okay. So obviously his strategy's been doing him well, and Schroden, he's been very consistent despite the changeable conditions. This is a good drive from him, but anyway. So the race continues. Jack Mayer, I think there's about to be a driver swap in MDR. Yeah, I think Mayer's about to go past Hamming with the slipstream and the DRS. So the two MDRs swapping. Hamming, yeah, making it easy for him as I would have expected, and now they're running in relative clean air at this point in time because Buck's getting ahead of them in front, and Michael Francesconi is about 15 seconds back. So they're not actually fighting anyone at this point in time. But in terms of the order, they could still be having a battle with Singh, with Deval, with potentially Buck, although probably not, with any of those drivers in terms of the actual order. And I think that still means that's an important move. Hamming is dropping back a bit from Mayer, though. I know it's difficult to follow cars, but could this be a sign that Mayer's faster than Hamming at this point in the race?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think their battle is with Sandeep Singh at the moment for third place. What's the gap? It's already 7 seconds to Deval. Deval's still going to have softs at the end if he does pit, and if he doesn't pit, he's ahead of them anyway. So that's a worrying thing in terms of the race win. But if they can keep working with each other, using the DRS and not getting in the way of each other, then they should be able to hold off Singh for third.
I still think they can win this race, but we'll see. It all depends on where Sandeep Singh comes out and also what Liam Deval does. Of course, whether Liam Deval has to pit again as well on those mediums. There's no guarantee, of course, that he can make his mediums last to the end of the race. He might end up dropping off the pace towards the end. But of course, we know that Liam Deval is very, very good over a race distance. That's why he's won 8 times in a row. That doesn't happen by accident. He's really been reeling in that gap on Sandeep Singh. He is very, very quick at this point in time. He's one of the quickest drivers on the road. Also, just witnessing a move. That's Sven Schubert passing Heiko Poom. Poom's about to get passed by Reed as well. Reed up the inside, and there's contact, and Poom runs off the road. Saw that coming, but anyway, that was for 12th, 13th, and 14th positions.
I just got to go back on something I said earlier. When you mentioned Singh, Deval, Mayer, and Hamming, I wrote Singh off. I thought he was on a different strategy, sort of. Yeah, I just thought he was up there because of strategy. I don't think he is. I think you're right. I think he's right in this race. He's still got an 8-second gap on Deval, and he's going to go onto softer tyres at the end as well. So, yeah,
Well,
I
you
think
see,
you're right.
he is on a different strategy to the others, but that's kind of the point. I think because Singh, Deval, and the MDR guys are all on such different, I think it's going to end up being whichever strategy puts them ahead at the end.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with a real showdown towards the end as the strategies kind of level themselves out. But yeah, I don't want to create unnecessary hype. We'll have to wait and see. We're not even, goodness me, we're not even half the way into the race yet. We're just approaching half the way in. But anyway, Reed now is about to pass Schubert. Reed's been flying the last couple of laps, and with the DRS when Schubert touches him from behind, luckily they all keep their wings. That's more than I can say from a couple of other incidents that have looked similar. Hygo Puma, I think, is back to retake 13th place as well. Goes up the inside into the Mercedes arena. And well, it looks like he was hoping that Schubert was from wide, but he didn't. So anyway, it's Reed 12th, Schubert 13th, and Puma 14th for the time being.
Yeah, good driving from Sven there. It's really easy to get flustered when you've just been overtaken and make a mistake at the next corner. Kept the car on line, got his braking right, and made sure that Puma could get through.
So through the last couple of corners of the lap, heads the battle, Reed, Schubert and Poom. Still, I'm watching the gap come down between Singh and De Vries, because I reckon De Vries going to have to pass Singh on, and if he wants to win, and there's 7.7 seconds in it. And you have to remember, Singh's not exactly slow. He's not just up there because of strategy. Singh, of course, was in that fight for third last time out at Silverstone, ended up losing out because of just how wild that battle was. But anyway, he was in and amongst that group.
And you're right.
Jakub Lali, has just dived up the inside of Ray Schroten. Schroten gets the switchback, comes back at him. That's the move for 10th place. Of course, in Formula 1, that would be the last points paying position, although in this, it's just for more points, since the last point goes to the person in 15th place. Sorry for interrupting you there.
No, I was just going to say, you're right about Singh as well, because he's just done, on lap 29 of his stint, he's just done his personal best, and he's only 4/10 off De Vries' time. So that's going to be really close on at the end of the race. I think you're right. De Vries is going to have to do his overtaking on the track.
We have half the race to go, and I honestly don't know who it's going to be. I feel sorry. Okay, I mean no disrespect by saying this, but I think we can count Frank Hamming out. So I think it's going to be either Singh, De Vries, or Meyer at this point in time. Hamming's still definitely on for second, especially if Meyer wins. But yeah, it's really unpredictable, and that's what rain does to a race. It throws everyone off, and it keeps it nice and jumbled up for us. But anyway, whoever wins this race is probably going to very much deserve it. Look at Jakub Lali, he goes up the inside of Schroten, and Singh pits. This is the important part. Singh has come into his box, and he will go on 2 medium tyres. He exits the box now, and now where's he going to be in relation to the MDR guys? So De Vries gone through, Buck's gone through, Meyer's going to go through as well, and so does Hamming. So he comes out behind them, and he's on fresher tyres, so he is going to need to pass the MDR cars on track. The MDR guys are going to the end of the race almost definitely, and I do think we're going to end up having a battle on track between Meyer, Hamming, Singh, and De Vries at this rate. Goodness me, this is shaping up to be a cracker of a finish.
Absolutely. I'm a bit surprised that Singh didn't wait off a few laps and go onto the softs, if I'm completely honest, because he could have been absolutely lethal at the end of this race.
Maybe.
But he'll still have pace on these mediums, and the gap to the 2 MDRs isn't as big as it could have been.
Keep an eye on Singh's lap times. They're going to be very, very important in this race. Very important indeed. So, after 55% of the race, it's De Vries followed by Buck, Meyer, Hamming, and Singh, although we're expecting Buck to pit again, and we're also expecting De Vries to pit again, come to think of it. Francesconi is 6th, then it's Walk, Woolburn, Tsupa, Lali, Schroten, Reed, Spork, Poom, and Kosmala in the points-paying position. Good to see Spork back up into the points. He is in a tight battle with, well, he's just passed Poom, actually, and now he's catching Jacob Reed. But anyway, that is the order as it stands, and I can't guarantee that all of those drivers have the same number of pit stops to come, but what I can pretty much guarantee is that Leon Bock still needs to make a stop, so I think that's what we've got to look out for next, Ewan.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just having a look down the order. I think Volborn might be on the fringes, maybe P4, P5 by the end of this race. Just looking at actually P6, actually. Francesconi and Vach probably still have to pit, and Volborn pitted around about the time for a 1-stop, so he'll be looking good. But yeah, now it's really all eyes on what De Vries and Bock do.
De Vries running 6 seconds ahead of Buck. His last few laps have been his fastest in the race, as expected. He's been pushing. Though his last lap, actually, he lost a couple of tenths, so I wonder if he got caught up in traffic maybe, or if he had a slight wiggle or something. Leon Bach has also been running quickly recently. His last few laps have been consistent and pretty much flawless, and very, very fast as well. Jack Mayer behind them. Again, it seems to be a recurring theme, and that's mainly because the track's the driest it has been all race, and also because the race is well and truly on now in terms of strategy, in terms of tires. But anyway, I really do think it's going to be Singh is now, he's less than 2 seconds off Hamming, so he's still catching up.
And that's
And
because he did two fastest of the race sectors as well. He is flying.
Whoa. A 1:15.741 was his last lap. Is that the first lap of the race? I
It's
think
not
it
on
is.
his fork on softs has got a 1:15.5, but apart from that, Singh and de Vries are pretty much tied then.
Okay. Well, this is dramatic stuff. Really dramatic. And I've got to say, Singh, if all of the other cars were invisible and you could drive straight through them without having any problems or whatever, I would say that Singh would win this race easily. The trouble is, he's got to actually pass these cars on the road. Liam de Vries has an even tougher job to do, providing he has to pit. We expect he does, because lap 17 to the end on mediums sounds a little bit impossible, but Liam de Vries, to be honest, 8 race wins in a row also sounds a bit impossible, and he's done it. So, you know, we'll have to see.
If Sandeep Singh gets past Hamming and Mayer in the same way that de Vries and Bock did at the start of their stints, then Sandeep Singh will win this race because he'll be able to make a gap and it will be too much for de Vries to catch up. If he gets
I'd agree with that.
behind Mayer and Hamming, then it's any one of the top 5 because it's going to really, really close them up. I expect Singh to get through easily. We saw Bock and de Vries, like I said earlier, a bit later on in their medium tyre stint compared to where Singh is now, pretty easily get past the 2 MBRs with the DRS down into the hairpin. So, but yeah, he's got to do it now.
Ian de Vries, of course, 8 wins in this championship so far. That's why he's open pits. Jack Mayer, his best result has been P2. That came at Baku. And also temporarily took a P2 at Poor Ricard before being penalised and dropping down to P4. Frank Hamming took that P2 at Poor Ricard and has finished high up in all 3 of the races he's done so far this season. And Sandeep Singh, well, I'll tell you when my site loads, but he's been in and amongst the top 10, but I don't think he's scored a podium yet. He may have had a P3 potentially. I'll tell you when it loads. But anyway, none of these drivers. He is on the rear of me. He's got the DRS as well. Sandeep Singh has got a great opportunity here because we've still got about 40% of the race to go. And Hamming though is actually taking a look at Mayer as well. So I wonder if he's feeling a bit anxious, a bit hunted at this point in time. I don't blame him, to be honest, because Sandeep Singh here, I struggle to see how they're going to be able to hold him back for the remainder of the race. I'm not sure they'll be able to, Ewan.
No, and to be honest, I'm surprised that when Mayer went past Hamming earlier, I thought they were going to do it on a lap-by-lap basis and just almost NASCAR style, you know, get the slipstream and try and create a bit of a gap. It looks like Hamming's getting held up a little bit here by Mayer, and it's really hurting their chances.
That's the disadvantage of running with your teammate, of course. It can occasionally hold you up. But anyway, of course, it's so difficult to pass in these cars. And that is the job that Singh has on his hands. Here's the first DRS, and we're approaching the second. The second is the more important of the two, the proper overtaking opportunity. And this is very important for Sandeep Singh. Here he comes. He's faster than Hamming on the straight. And I think he's going to make a move. He's going to go all the way to the right-hand side, the inside of the corner. Locks a wheel. And he's going to go through. And Hamming was forced onto the curb. And Singh is through into 4th position there. Sandeep Singh through into 4th. Now what can he do about Jack Mayer for what could potentially be the lead of the race?
Really good driving there from Sandeep Singh. It's so easy to snag a break under braking when you go that far to the inside. He managed to get it slowed down nicely, stop the cutback from ever being a possibility for Hamming, and now we can get after Mayer.
Right, here he goes. This is his chance. He's catching and catching as he has been for laps. And now is his proper opportunity. Down the start-finish straight towards the first of 2 DRS zones. Need to make sure you keep it on the curb through turn 1 there. You're allowed to use as much curb as you like, but don't put all 4 wheels over it. Through turn 2 they go. And here comes Singh's chance, the second DRS zone. Mayer pulling right the way over to try to block Singh's toe. And here comes Sandeep. He's going to go all the way to the right, I expect. Mayer blocks it. Wisely so. And Sandeep will be on the outside and vulnerable unless he can get the switchback. That was a great switchback, but I'm not sure he'll have enough traction. Not enough traction through there, so Mayer keeps third for the time being. But it's so tough to hold Singh back, and he takes another little look into the Mercedes arena just to unsettle Jack Mayer. Hamming's nowhere near them. He can't help Mayer now. Mayer is all on his own. Through into the final sector they head. Now this isn't an overtaking opportunity. You see how narrow the track is here. First time I saw it back in 2010, I thought it was the pit lane. Now back through to the start-finish straight. I mean, sorry, I had seen this track before then. I just, that's my first memory of it. But anyway, I am getting sidetracked because they're back in the DRS zone again.
What's interesting is that they're not any slower than de Vries, really. It's pretty similar time, so they're not actually losing too much time by fighting here.
But here we go. This is his chance. Sandeep Singh in the DRS. It's looking to be a replay of a lap ago. Mayer's going to go defensive again. Singh knew that he was going to do that. Surely was wise to it. He's got his car ahead into the hairpin. Turns in, leaves enough room. Oh, they touch wheels, and that's expert driving, and Singh does go through around the outside. That's move at the race so far, surely. Great driving from Singh. You saw how much grip he had. Mayer comes back at him, up the inside. Now, I tried that in the Academy race, so I know that it doesn't always work, and Singh holds the position. Great driving from Sandeep Singh, and he's passed both of the MDRs now. Now, if de Vries needs to pit, as I expect he will do, that puts Singh into the effective lead of the race.
Yeah, really good driving from both of them actually. Mayer had to go for the opportunity back up into turn 6. If he didn't make it, then he was never going to make it. What he did make sure is that he didn't torpedo Singh out of the race.
It was really close between the two of them. That could have gone disastrously wrong, but they're such good drivers, so precise. And honestly, the precision they were showing there it's awe-inspiring.
Yeah,
but anyway, Mayer's going to have the DRS again for this straight. I don't think he's going to be close enough for a move, but he'll be able to use it to try to stick as close to Singh as he can. Of course, it's not over yet because there's always the opportunity of mistakes from Singh. And also, remember, because Singh's on softer tyres, if his tyres start to go off towards the end, the MDRs may end up having the advantage again. Meanwhile, Yannis Wolburn into the pit, goes onto soft tyres, and exits the pit again on in what will be 12th position. 13th, sorry. It has been a pretty good drive from Wolburn so far, though. He's in the theoretically worst car, lowest in the championship, but Morris won. And of course, Wolburn, he was involved in an incident earlier that wasn't his fault at all. And de Vries does pit, just as I expect. Walk and Lally side by side in the hairpin. Walk's going to get out of that. But let's see where de Vries comes out. I expect he will be behind both MDRs and Singh, but by how much is the question. Leon Block temporarily leads the race. He's 5 seconds ahead of Singh. Through they all go. So de Vries will be down in 5th. And well, he's going to come out a long way ahead of Francesconi. So indeed, that is 5th place for Liam de Vries, but he has Frank Hamming in his sights. I reckon de Vries is going to be tough to hold off here because, again, we still have 30% of the race to go. I think de Vries has a real chance of second, but as long as Singh can get away, yeah, I think Singh is in the best position by a long way here.
Singh's in the best position. de Vries got to put 15 qualifying laps basically on these soft tyres. We know that the tyres will get to 21, 22 laps, so he has got a bit of leeway with with the tyre life. It's just, again, same as Singh, he's got to get past the two MDRs as fast as possible.
Lally and Poom are in the pits, just dropping down the order. Also, just had a brief off for Roy Schroten, lost 3 places in that as well. And Warburn's off, my goodness. Well, Warburn's been fighting Hubert, and it looks as if, oh wow, it looks as if they made contact and both ran very, very wide over the grass. That allowed Cosmala through. Now Warburn's gone back up the inside of Hubert and got back up into the top 10. That was a little bit of a kerfuffle there down at turn 2. But anyway, if Warbund scores a top 10 today, that will be a great drive from the Mars 1 driver.
Absolutely, he's done a good job. I was surprised to see him switch to the softs, but I think you're right. I think he did make an early pit stop for an issue, so that would explain that one. Interesting to see that De Val is really, really fast. He's got the fastest first sector of the race on these fresh softs, and I expect him to get past the two MDRs in no time at all.
Also, an update on what I said earlier. I said I thought Singh may have scored a 3rd place. He hasn't. He's scored 2 top 5 so far this year. He's finished 5th twice, but he hasn't scored a podium yet, not even a top 4. So if he is to win this race, he will probably celebrate like there's no tomorrow, and so he should. But of course, there's still a long way to go in this race yet. We still have over a quarter of the way to go. 15 laps, and Leon Buck's still out there. I expect Buck he's running along to go into the soft tyres towards the end, unless he's aiming for a one-stopper, of course.
I'd imagine he would, because softs would last 20-25 laps easily, especially at the end of the race when the cars have got less fuel on board. So
that's true, and actually looking at his times, I think he's maybe done 2 stops actually, so my apologies. You see, I always assumed that he... Right,
he
so
could... because of the inters. He 2-stopped because of the inters, but the time that he put the mediums on, he put mediums on the same time as De Val, so I'd be amazed if he got to the end of the race, but it looks like that might be what he's trying to do. Otherwise, he's left it quite late and might not be able to get the optimum from the soft tyres at the end.
Well, my apologies. Yeah, I was wondering, does that mean that Buck is still a real contender in this race? I think if he doesn't need to stop again, he's at least on for a podium. It's going to be tough to hold off Singh. Oh, and Liam Duval's got past Jack Mayer, has he? Yes, he has. Goodness, yeah, he's got past both MDR. I didn't even see that happening. Wow, my apologies. He got past Hamming down into the... And the reason I didn't see it is because it happened so quickly. He got past Hamming down into the hairpin, and then got Mayer almost on the exit. He got Mayer down into the Coca-Cola Cup. That's not a place you normally see a move. No, brilliant driving from Liam Duval. Very, very fast. Now,
well.
Oh my word. So that means that Buck and Singh are in real trouble here, because Duval is charging. It's not anywhere near as over as I thought. So, well, could Buck still be in contention to win this race? I'm not so sure, but it's going to be closer than I thought. Singh and Duval catching hard, and we have less than a quarter of the race to go now. Francesconi in the pits. Oh wait, no, sorry, he's just exited the pits. He's on soft tyres and has a decent buffer, so I think he's safely 6th. It's the top 5 that I'm more worried about. Is it going to be Buck? Is it going to be Singh? Is it going to be Duval? Or is something going to happen to all of them, and is Mayer going to take it? I honestly don't know. I think my money's still on Singh, but it's going to be closer than I thought.
Yeah, it's going to be closer than I thought as well. I'm tending to go towards Duval at the moment. He's so much faster than the 2 ahead. Singh's still doing personal bests, but Duval's safely in the 1:14, 8/10 faster than Singh on that lap. 1 whole second ahead of Buck on that lap. So yeah, he's absolutely flying, and I don't see that the other 2 are going to be able to hold him off.
Liam Duval at one point was 20 seconds behind Sandeep Singh, and he's now almost nothing behind Sandeep Singh. Fight for the last point paying position. Lopez holding off Tapper. Nicely done. Yeah, as I was saying, Liam Duval, he's come from a really long way back to work his way back into this leading battle through grit and determination. I tell you what though, I'm not sure they will catch Buck.
11 laps left, 6-second gap between.
Yeah, but
Duval
Buck's
and
still in the
Buck.
115s.
Yeah, 7/10. It's going to be close.
Yeah, so Buck's still in the 115, and I think the only way they're actually going to get him is if he makes another stop. Now, wow, so I feel kind of ashamed because I had completely written him off a long time ago, thinking that he needed to pit again. But I don't think he does. And as a result, unless his tyres start to drop off, he is going to be tough to pass. Leon Buck is... Yeah, Leon Buck's definitely still a contender for this race victory, and might even have the advantage.
I'm just doing some quick maths. They're going to be at least all in the same area of the track on the final 2 laps. It's going to be that close. 9/10 faster Duval that time on lap 44. 11 laps left now. 5.4 seconds between Buck and Duval. So that's covering the top 3. It's going to be mighty close.
This is great tension. Meanwhile, George Sutton's just retired from the race, so we have 23 cars remaining, with 20 of those on the lead lap.
How often do you get a race with the top 3 being on pretty much completely different strategies?
Well, this year we haven't had that at all. Honestly, I'm struggling to think of when that's last happened, but this is going to be a really climactic finale. We're into 10 laps of the race now. We're on lap 46 out of 55. The gap for the lead, 3 seconds. Duval is catching Singh quicker than Singh's catching Buck. So will it end up being Buck versus Duval, maybe? This is really dramatic.
Depends how fast Duval gets past Singh.
Sorry, contact at the hairpin between Tapper and Lopez over 15th place. Tapper has got through this time around. They got Roy Schroeten's company as well. Schroeten's still going for that final points paying position. Ooh, and even more contact. They keep locking wheels. Goodness me. Somehow getting away with it. And Duval is going to be, I think he's going to be within the slipstream, within the DRS of Singh on the next lap. However, they do have a lapped car between them. That is a Fusion racing car, so that'll have to be Christian Malcharak, who moves nicely out of the way. Wow. Well, the first thing I'm going to do if Leon wins this race is apologise to him for counting him out so early. Now, where did Leon Buck even qualify? He was 4th, 3rd? I think it was 3rd, yeah. And, really, I shouldn't. Yeah, well. Anyway, Sandeep Singh now within 3 seconds of him. 2.8 is the gap for the lead. Duval not quite in DRS range of Singh yet either. Lap 47 out of 55. They're a long way ahead of the MDR guys. The MDR guys, they've still driven a brilliant race. They're still going to be 4th and 5th at this rate.
Contact at the hairpin.
You're absolutely right. Lopez, Poom, and Schroeten. Schroeten pointing backwards, gets a nudge from Danny Robbins. Tries to get the car going again. And there's been even more contact further down because Lopez has spun while trying to get going again. And he's collected Hygo Poom. So drama down at the hairpin. And that was all started by... Oh, Lopez locked up a wheel and lost it. And cars ended up plowing into it. In fact, it was Lopez who spun twice. So Lopez caused both of those collisions there. Shame, and Roy Schroeter now out of the race. Now Liam Duval is in slipstreaming range. He is in DRS range of Sandeep Singh, and they have a back marker up ahead. That is Alejandro Lopez, directly ahead of them after just having his 2 spins. And now, through the final corner, Lopez moves across to let them through. Does he know that Duval's coming? Well, no, he's going to split them. Look at that. No, he's not. And Duval's going to run very wide going around the outside of him. Now, he does have DRS. Duval did a good job not to end up flying over the top of that back marker there. But anyway, gets the DRS again on the exit. And this is going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy for Liam Duval. Through he goes. Liam Duval takes 2nd position. Now, can he catch Leon Buck for the win of this race?
It's going to be so close. He did so well not to get into contact with Lopez there through turn 1, kept his head, managed to stay with Sandeep Singh and make his move down into the hairpin.
This is brilliant racing. This really is. Bruno Sousa Ferrari, meanwhile, has retired to the pit lane. He was 2 laps down, so obviously he's had enough. That means we now have 21 cars remaining in this race, with 17 of them on the lead lap. But my goodness, this is going to be a tense finish. Liam de Vries still the fastest car on track. His last few laps have been easily in the 115s, and that was with catching another car. Leon Bock has also been in the 115s, except for his last lap, which dipped into the 116s. Bock's about to set another lap. It's another 116. It's 116 dead. So de Vries reeling him in. 2.5 seconds is the gap between the leaders. We're on lap 49 of 55. We may need a mistake from Bock or his tyres to wear if de Vries is going to make it 9 from 9.
Still 8/10 faster de Vries than Leon Bock. Is going to be so close at the end. Volborn's just got past Jacob Reed for 8th place. Jacob Reed, by the way, starting in P24.
Good spot. Jacob Reed having a great race there in P9. Doing a really, really good job for that's TG Racing. The other TG, of course. Michael Francesconi running in 6th place. So that car doing well in the race. So another checkpoint coming up, and de Vries is now within 2 seconds of Leon Bock. He is catching so quickly, and I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being his fastest lap of the race, and maybe even the fastest lap of the race. Let's wait and see.
3/10 faster in sector 1, 3/10 faster in sector 2. That's already 6/10 in the first 2 sectors.
This is brilliant from Liam de Vries.
Absolutely flying up to him.
Absolutely. 1.5 seconds. Now, was that the fastest lap of the race?
No, it wasn't.
Not quite.
It's still pretty fast for what? 10 laps on a set of softs, and he's still doing 115.2s. That's pretty special. There's another 4/10 faster in the final sector. There's a whole second faster than Bock on that lap.
Lap 50, it's getting so exciting now. Bock on old tyres appears to be struggling. De Vries on soft tyres, not struggling in the slightest. And you have to surely put your money on Liam de Vries making it 9 out of 9. Who would have thought that when he was 20 seconds back earlier on? Liam de Vries has driven an absolute masterclass after getting his strategy arguably wrong to recover back to the lead anyway. And he's not in the lead yet, and I'm speaking too soon, but if he does win this race, if this is a race that he wins, then surely nothing can stop him. Through the Satch curve they head, through towards the end of the lap. Now this is the zone, this is the buffer where it gets difficult to follow the car in front. When the car starts to skate around a bit more and you start catching at a slower rate, but he's in the DRS zone for the first time. Liam de Vries has DRS and he opens it. And that will be a very relieving feeling from Liam de Vries. He's like a shark to a seal.
Now, de Vries has just got into DRS zone, but has Leon Bock been saving his tyres? He's just done his personal best of the race, a 115.7. It's still not as fast as de Vries because de Vries on softer tyres. But if he has saved a little bit of tyres for him to defend with, then, you know, that might be smart racing as well from Leon Bock.
Yeah, but it's tough. I say it's tough to overtake, and it is. But it's also tough to defend, especially when your opponent has DRS. I know that's a little bit of an oxymoron, but you know what I mean. But anyway, Leon Bock in his position will be feeling so under pressure. And I think he knows in his heart of hearts that Leon de Vries has the faster car here. And he is seeing his win slip away from him.
If these two get into a tussle, Sandeep Singh is still there lurking. He's not
Singh could still win this race, I tell you.
He's still not that far off DRS range. He's still there.
Now, I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't rooting for Leon Bock a little bit here. It would be the underdog story of the century if he was to pull this off. I mean that, of course, with no disrespect to Liam de Vries. Meanwhile, James Huber's just got past Jacob Reed, and that's for 9th place. Now, here we go. Liam de Vries, surely this will be his first attack. What can he do with it? Leon Bock's going to go defensive. Not. Well, he is leaving the door open, so de Vries goes to the right-hand side, goes to the inside. It's all about the braking zone here. de Vries uses the brakes and hits the apex, and de Vries has taken the lead of the race. Leon Buck down to second, and Liam de Vries surely is going to make it 9 out of 9. What an unbelievable drive from Liam de Vries. And Leon Buck, as I said, he knew in his heart of hearts that he wasn't going to be able to keep that, decided not to lose too much time. He still won second, which I still think he can hold from Sandeep Singh. But what a drive from Liam de Vries.
Buck looked like he had it absolutely covered down the inside into the hairpin. As they were going through the left-hand kink, de Vries sort of gave him a bit of a shimmy, a bit of a dummy, opened the inside up for himself and took it. Managed to get back across the racing line, stopped any sort of comeback from Leon Buck, and that is a fantastic move for the lead.
Leon Buck, of course, only did one race in this series so far, which was Montreal, where he finished third. He looks to be going one better than that today. And so nearly won as well. But what a drive it's been from him as well. But you've got to say, driver of the day. I know I've said this pretty much for the last 9 races, but it just has to be Liam de Vries. And you know, I swear I'm not biased. I was very much rooting for Leon Buck there, but Liam de Vries, you have to say he's the best driver in the field. He shows it time after time after time, and he's showing it again to us today. And I'm not sure many Super League champions could do better than that, to be honest.
No, he looks unstoppable, really, doesn't he? I mean, this is pretty much as close to a different driver winning as we have had all season.
Oh, Gary Tapas just had an engine failure. Okay. Yeah, he was passing Pascal Schmidt and he caught fire. So I wonder whether... oh no, he didn't catch fire then, it was later on in the lap. But I wonder whether he just overheated in the slipstream of Schmidt.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, because he after his trouble earlier on in the race, obviously he had a bit of an incident, lost his front wing, he'd managed to get back into the points, so that is a shame for Dubé Tapper.
Yeah. Disappointing from him. We're on to the penultimate of the race now. It's de Vries followed by... Oh, de Vries sliding wide at the hairpin. Don't lose it all narrowly. Goodness me. Followed by Buck, Singh, Mayer, Hamming. In fact, I think there's about to be a swap between the MDRs. There is. So Hamming's going back to the inside. And no, there isn't. He was just maximising his DRS. But anyway, Mayer stays ahead of Hamming. And it's Francesconi, Wach, Woolburn, Zuber, Reed, Kosmala, Lally, Spork, Schmidt, and Schubert. Those are the points-paying positions. And also, all of the drivers on the lead lap of this race as well. Colin Spork doing well. He's now in the slipstream of Jakob Lally. That's over 12th place. I wonder what he could have done without the accident earlier on. But anyway, and if I'm going to be completely honest and transparent with you, I also very much root for Colin Spork. He's a very, very nice guy, very talented as well. And another engine fella, and it's Yannis Fulburn out of the race. And he was going so well in that Mars 1 car. And that's a big engine blower there. And a huge shame, because Mars 1 really needed those points. And well, that's gutting. And it also means I wonder if these drivers are going to have to be a bit careful with their engines. The other drivers in the field. We're on to the final lap of the race now.
That hurts, especially after a drive like that.
Absolutely, and it was only on the penultimate lap of the race, very close to the finish. And that's going to elevate Ivan Leonov into the points and Sebastian Kosmala into the top 10. But anyway, here comes Liam de Vries. He has just a couple of corners to go in the race. It's been an absolutely flawless drive. He came from over 20 seconds back to lead the race, fought his way past the MDRs, past Singh, past Buck, and now he is going to win, and that's his best victory yet, surely. Goodness me. Liam de Vries has won. Leon Buck is second. Great drive from him. Sandeep Singh third. Brilliant. Jack Mayer and Frank Hamming are going to be fourth and fifth in the MDRs, and they might well be celebrating, even though they won't come away with a podium here. Michael Francesconi will be sixth. A little bit of an anonymous performance from him. My apologies to Michael. He drove very well as always, although we didn't see much of him because he was very much on his own after all of the pit strategy dealt itself out. Tomasz Vlok is going to be 7th. James Zuber will be 8th. Jacob Reed 9th, and then Sebastian Kosmala, Jukka-Pekka Lally, Colin Spork, and Pascal Schmidt. Sven Schubert scored points on his return to GPVWC, and even Leonov picked up a point towards the end there. Also finishing were Christian Malchrak, Heigo Poom, Alejandro Lopez, and Danny Robbins. Also classified will be Janis Wolburn, Dowie Tapper, and possibly Schroeden and Ferreira. I'm not sure if they will be classified, but it won't really matter because they were points. George Sutton was another DNF, and then also DNFing were Quint, Limburg, Checkett, Saracino, Paolini, and Mora. But anyway, what a race this has been. It wasn't the kind of ferocious battle sort of race that we're used to seeing, but it was so good in terms of strategy, in terms of the changeable conditions, in terms of the brilliant performances and drives that we saw, and it was one of the most unpredictable races all the way through as well. I had no idea exactly how they were going to pan out. There were drivers that I completely overlooked until the end. There were drivers that I overestimated. There were drivers that I underestimated. What a race, Ewan!
I absolutely loved that. And like you said, we really did not know what was going to happen until sort of lap 42, 43. I discounted Singh early on, and he ended up third and looked like he was going to win it for much of the race.
I discounted Buck earlier on, and he ended up second. Yeah,
Exactly. And not just that, looking down the points, there's plenty of people who started right at the back. Leonov picked up a point. He pitted on the formation lap because he started originally on Inters. So it just shows that if you keep yourself out of trouble and you get your strategy spot on, you can get points no matter where you start in this championship. You know, it really showed some of the overtaking, especially in the wet weather. It really did show off the championship's credentials for me. Some really, really good driving there today.
absolutely, it was. Honorary driver of the day is to pretty much everyone in that top 5, to be honest. Frank Hamming was amazing in his support of Jack Mayer, who was also amazing, and also Leon Buck and Sandeep Singh came completely out of the blue. And shout out to Colin Spork as well. Yeah, okay, I'm a big Spork fan. I want to be transparent about that, but you have to say he could have done a lot more if he hadn't had that incident, which wasn't his fault. But anyway, let's bring in our race winner there. After such an incredible battle, he's come out on top again. 9 wins out of 9. Liam Duval.
Hello.
Hi, Liam. Bet you didn't expect to be talking to us again after the first couple of laps.
It was really difficult. We were in the warm up. Qualifying was really surprising that we were so fast, getting such a big gap, me and Colin. And then it started raining, and honestly, I'd spotted Amari Watson. He told me like people on Inters are really fast. They're doing purple times, and I knew the rain was not gonna get much heavier. At least I thought so, but I didn't expect it to stop that fast. But I did not go into Inters. I think it was the right call, unless you want to take a risk. And then obviously it stopped raining, and I passed Jack and Frank at one point, but right after that point, the slicks were the faster tire. So then they were faster than me behind me, and then I went to the pits again, and then I thought Leon Buck would do a 2-stop after that as well, going onto the mediums, but his tire wear is just insane. I have a lot of respect for that. That he managed to keep those tires alive, and he was really fast towards the end as well. Real great job by him. And yeah, I did 4 pit stops. I never expected it to go this way.
Whoa,
I'm really
I counted
happy.
3.
I think it's 4. I'm not too sure. I think
Okay.
it should be 4.
I may be wrong with that, but anyway, yeah, there were points where you were 20 seconds behind Buck and Singh. How did you manage to gain back the time and then pass them?
To be fair, I just did quali laps the whole race. I didn't care about tire wear at all.
I can
really.
tell.
It was originally I was gonna do a 2-stop because I didn't really prepare too much for this race. I did a lot of Superleague laps for tomorrow, but I only really started today. And yeah, it was. I just did quali laps all over because I was gonna do medium and then soft again. And yeah, they had to save the tires, especially Sandeep. Also, really good job by him. He drove amazingly, but he had to manage the one-stop strategy. So that's why I managed to catch them that much.
Final question: are you ever going to stop being amazing?
Oh, thank you. Well, I think I will not be doing too much more races because I'm not allowed to, since I'm now doing the season for Adonis. I think I'm allowed 2 more races or 3. But
Oh my goodness!
once I win the championship, I will not race anymore. So I won't do a 16 out of 16, but hopefully I can win the last 2 or 3 rounds.
That would have been quite something to see. But to be honest, I was expecting that. You definitely belong in Super League. But anyway, yeah, thanks for talking to us, and good luck for the rest of your season.
Thanks a lot for broadcast. Bye bye.
Anyway, second place in that race. Sorry, completely got that wrong. Third place in this race was Sandeep Singh. Hello, Sandeep.
Yo.
So Sandeep, P3 after all of that, you fought hard, and we thought you might win it for quite a lot of the race. How did it look from your point of view, and what was going through your mind at those points?
It was tough race because I was the only one to start on. I think I wanted free to start on the hard tires, and so everyone else around me started on softs. And then at the start, I had a dude in front of me spin into the wall, and the guy spun in the exit of turn 1. And then while everyone else had more mechanical grip basically compared to me, I could not get those hard tires to fire up. And then I saw some guys pit onto inters, and then. But Jeff was my engineer, man. He got it absolutely perfect. He told me to stay out, hang in there, and hung in there. I kept it out of the wall. Well, I made a couple of mistakes here and there, but I kept. Then when the track came to me on the hard tires, I just absolutely flew up to the MDR guys, and they pitted pretty much. And then I knew I was in a race with them after I made a pit stop. Yeah, I mean, it was tough, and then Bok, oh my god, I don't know how many laps the dude went on mediums. I thought he was pitting at some point, but man,
We all did.
Jesus Christ, I kind of. And then it took me a little bit too long to realize he wasn't pitting. Then and his pace, even on one tires, was incredible. But yeah, good race, podium P3. I'll take that in this car. It's been hard work this year with it. Yeah.
At what point did you realize that that you were on course for a podium, and did you think you could win?
When everyone pitted onto inters and the track started drying up, I knew, I got a pit stop advantage over a lot of guys. And then I thought, podium's on. And then since I caught the MDR guys, I was like, come on, I got a sniff of a win here. Depends if I got good pace on when I make my pit stop. But man, Liam was bloody fast as usual, predictable, and Bok was insane on his highway and pace. So congrats to them too.
Well, I think you nailed that race. That was a brilliant drive, and congrats on your podium.
Cheers, thank you.
Okay. Well, we can't speak to second place since Leon Buck doesn't appear to be here, but we can speak to the team manager of, or the joint team manager of one of the highest scoring teams of the day, of course, MDR. So we have Josh Downard here. Josh, do you hear me?
Hello, yes.
Jolly good. So we spoke to you after. Sorry, I'm okay, thanks. How are you?
Nice. Yeah, well, happy
yeah.
after that.
Okay. So we spoke to you after Paul Ricard, where you got 2 cars in the top 4. Today you also have 2 cars in the top 5. Your guys seem very, very consistent this year. How do you keep plugging away at these good results?
To be honest, I think it's mostly luck.
Okay.
No. Obviously, both of them done a great job, and Frank stepping in as well. It's done a great job with kind of minimal notice and minimal practice and time available. So they've both done really well, and I mean, actually saying that today, it was mostly about luck with the rain. Just yeah, I didn't think it was going to rain at all. So that caught us off guard at first, but then we thought we'd try it, not pitting at all. Obviously, it was only us 2 and Sandeep that didn't, and it worked out really well. So yeah, no, it did well.
when the rain started to stop, if that makes sense, it looked to me as if your guys could win the race potentially. Did you feel the same way, or did you always know it was going to swing back in the direction of your opponents?
To be honest, yeah, there was some times where it was looking pretty good for that. The main, to be honest, the main person we were worried about was Sandeep. So starting on those hards, he did really well with the pace on them. So we thought it would be kind of between us and him for the win, because we thought everyone that went on to Inters would be just too far behind by the time the rain stopped. But obviously Leon and Liam both did really well as well. Liam with his always very fast pace, and Leon as well, quite surprising that he took the mediums for so long. We weren't expecting that. So yeah, we were maybe thinking we could get better, but I think overall for the team we did really well, and it's helping us in the championship, this result. So still happy with it.
Absolutely. Well, you did an amazing, or your guys did an amazing job today, and congrats on another double top 5 finish.
Thank you very much.
So anyway, that's Josh Downard, and that is all we have time for today. So I'm going to say a very big thank you to Ewan Gale for stepping in when we needed a co-commentator. Sadly, Whatcake couldn't be here today. Ewan, I'm so glad you got to see this one, because I can tell you enjoyed it.
Baptism of fire, Caitlin. We had rain, we had different strategies. I mean, yeah, it wasn't. It was an exciting one to start with, wasn't it?
Absolutely so, yeah. Also, a very big thank you to Gerrit de Vries for streaming, and also for putting up the notice that got Ewan's attention, and of course for providing the cameras that you see every week, and solving the streaming issues that we had throughout the race. Yeah, so anyway, that's the lot from Hockenheim, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time, I think, unless it's summer break already. I'll double check. Sorry, what's that? It's a summer break. Okay, so we won't see you in 2 weeks. We will see you in 3 or 4 weeks. Yes, okay, and that will be the Belgian Grand Prix from Spa-Francorchamps. So anyway, make sure you stick around for that, and make sure you tune in tomorrow actually, because we have Super League proper on the same channel, GPVWC, also from the Hockenheimring. Anyway, that's the lot. Thank you for watching, and good night.